Hey, what's happening, everybody? So, looks like yesterday evening, IGN posted an interview with Hamaguchi and Kitase from Square Enix talking about how COVID 19 has affected Final Fantasy VII Remake, its release, and the production of Part 2. It's not too long of an interview, so I'm just going to read it verbatim and then we'll have a little discussion about it afterward. If you all want to read along or check it out for yourselves, it's on IGN.com. I'll put a link in the description. After I read it, I'm going to give you. I've already read through it. I've skimmed through it once. I've got some ideas. I've got a take on what I think is going on with this. We'll discuss it after this. Development on Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 will temporarily drop below 100% efficiency. That's in quotes. That's a direct quote from them. Due to remote working. But the game's creators are confident that it won't have a major long-term impact. In an interview with The Guardian, co-director Naoki Hamaguchi and producer Yoshinori Kitase were asked about the effects of COVID-19 on the first part's release. Kitase explained that the release of the game happening during the unprecedented situation has blindsided us. That's true. They really didn't know what they were going to do leading up to release. I think it was like literally as the team was coming out of the locker room, they decided on the game plan. It was that down to the wire on what they wanted to do. He went on to discuss how Part 2's development has been touched by the pandemic. At this current time, the team the team is still making the next game via remote working. Our performance will temporarily drop below 100% efficiency because of this, but I do not think that there should be a big impact in the long term. Previously, we've heard that the game's director, Tetsuya Nomura, would prefer to adapt smaller chunks of Final Fantasy VII at a faster pace, which, no. I'll get into that in a minute. Some will be hoping that means we hear more about a follow-up soon, with Square Enix set to announce new games in July and August. So, as for what that Part 2 will include, as for what that Part 2 no. This is typed kind of poorly in places. I'm just going to keep reading. As for what Part 2 will include, the developers are being understandably cagey. With some fairly major changes to Part 1's story, the developers were asked if the sequel will continue to veer away from the original game's storyline. I'm not able to tell you the answer to that now. Yeah, I figured that would be the quote on that. They're not going to talk about that right now. You crazy? Explained Kitase. I understand that there's a lot of speculation among the fans. That is what we wanted, and we've really enjoyed seeing the theories and guesses of what the ending means. We wanted the fans to keep the discussion going on social media and keep their excitement high as we head towards the next game. Exactly. What I say in the video when people were coming out and you're either lambasting the game, you were toasting it, or you were praising it. What did I say in the video? I said, look, this is what they want. This is what they want. People are going to keep roasting this or praising it on social media up until Game 2's release. This is a marketing directive, and it worked. It's still working. You all. I mean, that was brilliant by Square Enix to do that. I know some people that are lifetime fans of this game that hated that ending, and they're just irate. Square Enix laughing all the way to the bank. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'll keep reading. What they will confirm is that, as expected, classic villain Sephiroth will be a major part of the next installment. No way. You kidding me? Seriously? Sephiroth's going to be a big part of the next installment? Get out of here. That's a big scoop, IGN. That's a big scoop. After he made unexpected appearances in the first part, in the original game, Sephiroth did not make an appearance in the section of the story told in Final Fantasy VII Remake, but we changed it to have him appear from the start in order to position him playing an important role over the whole of the remake project. Sephiroth plays a major part in the ongoing story of the next game, so I am unable to reveal any more information about him here. You don't say. What a scoop. Final Fantasy VII Remake's creators have previously implied that the next game will not drastically change the story fans already know. Despite the notable differences in the first part, we awarded that first part an 8 out of 10 review saying that its dull filler and convoluted additions can cause it to stumble, but it still breathes exciting new life into a classic while standing as a great RPG all on its own. Let's not get into IGN and what they consider boring and not boring, or dull or not dull. Okay, let's not get into that right now. But that's the whole interview. So basically, my take on that, of course, COVID-19 is going to slow it down. People are literally having to work from their homes on this game. Translation to that whole part where they're talking about the COVID-19 slowing Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2's development. They had to retrofit people's actual homes with the systems they would be working on at work so they can work remotely. Now, what that also says to me is we are not going to get a whole lot of leaks unless someone leaves the company. If someone leaves the company or is terminated from the company, they're going to dump whatever is on their home computer that is working on this. I know that's why Square Enix that's why all companies are very, 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 very leery of people working from home and not coming into the studio to work on the game, because you can put that data on a jump drive. You're not monitored within the system of the company. You could slip that stuff onto like a secret drive you've got on your computer or something at home. So these companies are having to actually put their units wired to their servers to their company, and it is costing a lot of money to set people up. So yes, that's going to drop efficiency below 100%. How far below 100% are we talking right now? That's my question. That's very much company speak. How far below 100% efficiency are we talking? So my original guess for this game was quarter 1 or quarter 2, 2021. About the same time it came out this year, but next year, March, April 2021. Folks, that ain't happening now. That is not happening, according to this interview from what I'm reading, unless they chop it into smaller pieces, which I don't want them to do that. I want this to be about the size of the first game. I think that's a good bite size. I'm getting ready to jump back into it and finish my platinum run. And then I'm going to go through and play through it on normal again just to get some good capture footage and whatnot. But I don't want a 5-6 hour playthrough experience every 6 to 9 months. No. Once every year and a half, drop a 30-40 hour play experience on us until the game's done, until the whole story is done, And I'm going to stop saying the game. It's the story. It's the story. Because when they release a game, that game is done. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1, that game is done. That is a game on its own. I'm going to start saying story, because I was thinking about that the other day. You know what I mean? So, but they go on to say some other things that were interesting to me about, they were dancing around plot elements of the next game, which, let's go ahead and tell you the plot of the next game. Let's go ahead and tell you what happens in the next game. No, you idiot. You're not going to do that. So, COVID-19 is affecting a lot of people in the way things are working, and the way things are working in the game industry, because you have teams and teams and teams of people working in one area under crunch or whatever you want to call it. They're working anywhere from 60 to 80 hours a week in one building, which shouldn't be, but I mean, that's the way it is. That's also why games are getting ready to get a hike, because less crunch means they have to employ more people, which means the games are going to cost more to make. So if you don't want crunch, you're going to pay $70-$80 for a game. That's just the way it is. I mean, it takes a lot of people to make these games the way they look. So they're having to retrofit people's homes, basically, to work under these conditions. Oh, that big scoop about Sephiroth playing a big role in the next game? You don't say. What? I even put that in there just to fill a word count. So basically, the only thing to take away from this interview really is that Square Enix, it was a marketing ploy. It was a marketing tactic for them to make the ending of that first game controversial, so people are talking about it until the next game, so that fire doesn't die. They knew it was going to be at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years between the two games. Now it could be longer because of this less than 100% efficiency, which that efficiency is probably about 60 to 70% right now. They didn't want to say that. So technically that is under 100%, but I'm guessing they're running at about 60 to 70% efficiency of what they usually run at in-house. You can't hit 100, you can't even hit, I would say, 80% efficiency with everybody working from their homes. You cannot do it. I have worked in marketing companies. I have worked as a marketing director. And when you've got people working from home and you're trying to get stuff from people at home and you can't go down the hall to the next wing or whatever, and you can't do this or that, you can't get instant contact with people, 80% is the best you can do. And that is everything running maximum efficiency for the situation. I'm guessing they're probably running about 60 to 70%, which means we're not going to see this game until early 2022 probably. That would be my guess. A lot of things, movies are being delayed, games are being delayed. I'm guessing best case scenario, we get this maybe January, February 2022. If it's before that, great. I'm excited to be wrong about that. But my guess, my safe guess, so I don't get too over the moon, is like late winter, early spring 2022. I will keep my ear to the ground for anything coming up. I have been Google searching for Final Fantasy VII Remake news, trying to, if something drops, I give it to you all. But I'm also not going to just make filler videos just so you all come watch my videos. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give you all good stuff, meaty content, not fluff. I don't want to do fluff. People have asked me if I'm going to do any more theory or speculation videos. If I have a good theory or speculate about something, but I think I've covered everything I want to theorize about. My take on the ending's out there. I don't need to make more content on that. I don't want to give you all fluff. If y'all just want to hear me talk, I really appreciate that. but no, I want to give you all good content. That's why my content doesn't come out all the time, because there's not a lot to report on right now. There's not a lot to talk about right now. So anyway, if something big happens and drops, you will hear it from me. And I may not be the first guy, but I will be there. So if you like that, drop a like on the video, share it around, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed so you know when I got new videos and new content going up. Click the bell so you know immediately when it's happening. And I will catch you all in the next video. So y'all keep rocking. Have a great night. Be safe out there. Treat each other well. And I will see you all next time I see you. Take care.